Lobster Magnet. Lobster's a 10, I told you grab it.
Welcome to Lobster Magnet's Review, the channel to review. I'm here by myself to do a solo review that I've been wanting to do for a while, but I've been kind of like dragging my foot on it. This is Uber Invasion Issue 7. Now this was an amazing motherfucking fist pumping in the air, incredible issue, and oh my god, I loved it so much. I was like, God, it was hilarious. After I did the Uber review, someone posted a comment and said, hey, I now know what the Zephyrs are. And I'm like, what the hell? Because I was expecting the issue to drop at the end of the month, or at least so one of the schedules I was looking at told me. But I was apparently wrong, and this has happened to me in the past where Uber is snuck up on me, and an issue has dropped earlier than I was expecting. And oh my god, this issue was worth every single penny. It was so effing good. Now, the thing about Uber is that a lot of the issues, there's a lot of build-up, there's a lot of slow tension in terms of how Kieran Gillian likes to set up the stakes, build things up. Basically, there's a lot of setup, and from a month-to-month read, that can be a little bit frustrating. I was agonizing with issue 6, where he devoted 6 to 8 pages to, basically give us information about the Japanese battleship that we already kind of figured out once we knew that there was a Japanese battleship. He showed his activation, how they recovered him, and it's I was kind of rolling my eyes. It's come on, move the story a little bit forward. I want to see what the new Uber type is. And we finally got it with the debut of the Zephyrs. And oh my god, this was so good. Basically, the setup is that the Nazis are marching to Detroit. Now America's in a critical position where, the East Coast has been completely fucked up. Boston and New York are completely destroyed by the Nazi Armada, which has no counter. Their attempt to try and take out Siegfried failed when they threw 300 tankmen at him because Siegmund was able to basically, redeploy and provide firing cover support for him. And because of that, they lost the entire, first enhanced American army. And it was a huge loss for good old America. And the Nazis were basically free to do whatever the hell they wanted. And it was a really heartbreaking chapter. But no, the R&D, thanks to Alan Turing and, what's her name? Stephanie, the good old Brits, have saved the day by introducing a new Uber type, and oh my god, I just love it. The battle starts out with the American has artillery to try and draw one of the battleships away, and you just see it's this apocalyptic conflict. They're under this hill firing the artillery, and then of course Siegfried comes in with his laser eyes as expected, but the HMH Colossus II is there and he counterattacks, but we know that he should not be doing that because he is not a full battleship ready. He's still a heavy cruiser level. He is not up to taking on Siegfried. And then after he does the first initial strike, he basically hightails it and runs like a bitch. And you're thinking oh god, you're being a coward, you're being a yellow belly coward. But then it is revealed that it was all part of the fucking plan. That then comes in an entirely African-American reserve of the Zephyrs, which was so fucking good. They got bitching flight suits. They look totally pimp. I am going to make a video where I basically do a dramatic reenactment of that scene, because I love that scene so much. I was just obsessing over it when they came in. I was just pumping my fist in the air, hell yeah, motherfuckers, let's see what these guys can do. And they did not disappoint. Apparently their ability, they don't have the enhanced strength, they don't have the halo eye, but they can either move so fast that they freeze time, or they have a spatial temporal ability that moves them so fast that it looks that everything else is still, or they actually freeze time. And it's amazing because they're armed with diamond bladed daggers and they just go to town on good old Siegfried. And it is so great to see, the little bitch who's, out of all the German battleships, he's, the one who's, pretty much unscathed at this point, while the other ones have, received, mortal wounds. But Siegfried always manages to get out of it, and, then they slice his throat, and then they go for his eyes, and just, and the best part is that, they are, regular tankmen. They're not even battleship class, and 5 of them were able to kill a battleship, which is just amazing. It changes the entire scope of the war. Now America has a weapon to fight back, and Germany only has 1 battleship, while America has, 3 heavy cruisers that could potentially, do much better in single combat against the battleship. And they have the Zephyrs. Oh, I fucking love the Zephyrs. Oh, they're like the sort of like the Uber analog for the Tuskegee Airmen, and they are completely badass. Oh my god, I love them so much. For this video, I'm probably just gonna have footage from World War II movies with a lot of Dunkirk music, because all that music is fucking awesome. Because it's by Hans Zimmer. Because unfortunately there's not video footage except for this one motion graphics animation which I might use, but I'll throw in a few comic stills in there. But oh, it's so good, I cannot recommend it. Uber is kind of a really depressing, sad comic, but there are a few oh my god, this is the best thing ever moments. Their issue 11 was a really, really good moment, which you might have seen in my video dramatization. Fucking love the Winston Churchill scene. It is so good. Then issue 21 is another fuck yeah moment where Maria Andreevna goes against Siegfried, and she just completely tears her apart. That's another fist pumping fuck yeah moment. And now we have Uber Invasion issue 7, which is the other fist pumping moment. And Kyrian does a great job of stacking the deck against the allies, so when they do get a victory, it feels amazing and significant. And this was great. But of course, like all victories in Uber, it's a Theoric one where none of the Zephyrs are able to survive. Unfortunately, they're kicking Siegfried's ass, but when they slice his eye, because he's a battleship class, not only does it tear a hole out of his head, which is amazing, but unfortunately the damage completely catches them off guard and disrupts them to the point where he's able to counterattack. And then all 4 out of 5 of them are dead. And then there's just this one poor guy, Charles Rivers, who pushes him beyond his limits to the point where his body combusts, just so he can ensure that Siegfried bleeds out like the little motherfucking racist pig he is. And it is glorious. Oh my god, it is a Theoric victory, but it is a sweet victory, because now the Nazis know that they cannot fuck with America without impunity, because America has something that can fight back. I cannot wait to see what the repercussions of the war are. If this is the big final turning point that we've been waiting to see. Kyrian in the end says that that this chapter is the next chapter, unfortunately, isn't going to follow up on the American front. We're going to see what's going on with Patton, since we know he's about to start a huge campaign, and we're also going to see what's going on with the Eastern front with good old Maria Andreevna, which we've been waiting to see for a long time. So I can't wait for the payoff for that, although there's a part of me that wants to see how the hell the Germans are going to handle, because we've been seeing that while the main force of enhanced humans is still really big and prevalent, little by little the Americans have been kind of picking them off. In the Battle of Nantucket, the force that was eliminated from Siegmund, they were completely annihilated, and then there were a few casualties in the main Battle of Nantucket. So little by little, the manpower is kind of depleting, and we know that they probably can't get reinforcements. It's a one-way ticket for the invasion force. And now that they're one battleship down, and America has a way to fight back, what are they going to do? Are they going to continue their reign of terror to try and go after the production facilities that can stop the mechanized arm of America? Because that is the one thing they have. They still have the West Coast, which is completely intact, and as long as they have that, they win the war. Because Germany's infrastructure is completely destroyed. And as awesome as the Tankmen and the Ubers are, they're not enough to destroy that. But this was a great chapter. Fucking love it. I love every second of it. I love every little beat of just that moment where it looks like all is lost. The Colossus Eamon Razor is stuck in the middle of time. Siegfried looks like he's gonna start punching his ass, and then time stops. In my head, I imagine, and I will get to show you this, what it actually looks like in my head, because I'm gonna make a video recreation of it. I just imagine the Snoop Dogg song, the Smoke Weed Every Day, where it just has that big 13-second epic intro. intro. It just goes into that, and then just like, you know, some sort of hip-hop music comes in as like the fucking uber Tuskegee Airmen literally take apart the battleship in the most like epic takedown in the entire series. And it is so good because it's been such a long time coming. Germany doesn't get many like licks against it because, well, you know, if they lose too much, then, you know, the series is over. And this is about extending the war, not so much like the Allies will probably eventually win, or, you know, carrying toys with the idea that saying like after the end of World War II or the end of Uber's World War II that like there may not be anyone left. It'll just be a bloody smeared battlefield, and, you know, whatever humans are left will just be stuck amidst the ashes and the ruin. I personally am hoping that we at least get like you know, like a sort of like a postscript chapter where we, you know, see like what happens to all the Ubers now that they have to transition back to civilian life. And, you know, I just had this vision of like this poor like alcoholic Uber who's like stuck in the middle of Times Square, who's like a Vietnam veteran who like suffers from PTSD, and then you know, the cops like are like reluctant to like try and police him just because he's laser eyes and super strength, because like that's gonna be a huge problem that's gonna, you know, infest the world after like the, you know, after the war is won and the desperate struggle is over. What happens to all these superpowered people? How are they redeployed into civilian life? Can they be redeployed, or will they just be like a hazard to everyone? Or will they live like perfectly fine lives? Or, you know, what is the choice? How do you go back to being human after being a human weapon? Can you live a normal life? It's a really good question. I would love like a 6-series like mini-series just to like explore how the events of the human Uber technology have affected the world in the post-World War II. I would pay to see that. I don't know if Kieran Gillian has that in plan, but that would be a brilliant, brilliant comic. But anyway, we're getting some great shit here. If you haven't, please pick up Uber issue 7. Catch up. This is amazing. This is exactly, you know, the kind of storytelling I fucking love. Why isn't this an HBO show? Why isn't this being, you know, developed as an HBO series? Everyone wants comic books. Uber deserves like the multi-million-dollar HBO treatment. Jesus Christ. Oh, it's so fucking good. 10 out of 10. 11 out of 10. This is like, you know, this is why I read comics. This is like why I love getting hyped. I love it when like something that's like just static images on the train, static images on a page, like get me so invested that like, you know, I have an emotional, visceral reaction. Like I said, when I was reading this, I was like pumping my fist in the air because I was so happy to finally see this immense payoff that I've been waiting months for. And while Uber may sometimes be a little bit deliberate in terms of like giving off its payoffs, when they come, they are the best fucking thing in the world. And that is why I cannot recommend this series enough. Jesus Christ, why aren't you reading this? Please go read this. The Zephyrs were fucking amazing. I want to punch everyone who doesn't read Uber. You know, but I've already stated my feelings in that video of like why I love Uber so much, and this only confirms it. This chapter was amazing. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. The Tuskegee Airmen are so badass. I even got to ask Kieran Gillian on Twitter, like, you know, are they the Tuskegee Airmen, your version of it? And he said, well, a little bit, and then some other things. So who knows? Maybe in his like little, you know, postscript editorial he does in the end of each issue, he'll talk a little bit about what the influences are for the Zephyrs and, you know, the Charles Rivers and the other African-American soldiers who gave their lives in this great fictional tribute. And, oh, so sad, though, at the end where he, like, talks about how none of them received the Medal of Honor. But at least the general at the end says, like, thank God for Charles Rivers. So, sadly, you know, the racism of the era still exists, and some of the racism that we still see to this day that still lingers within American culture, which is a shame that, the fictional Zephyrs all deserve Medal of Honors for being the first people to ever take down a battleship, and so good, so fucking amazing. I love every fucking second of it. I could just like see Siegfried get his eye cut all day. In fact, I did. I like had that scene in Comixology, and I had the little animated panel thing, and I was just like zooming back and forth and just replaying it. It was great. I'll hopefully get to show you that soon. This whole thing was amazing. Oh, such a good thing. One of the best, most exciting things I've read in a long time that like completely made me go over the moon. It was a great payoff. Go pick it up on Comixology, or go get it somewhere else, or get it in your local comic store. Catch up with Uber. Jesus Christ, why aren't you reading Uber Invasion and Uber in all its other forms? Like, it was hilarious. Like, as soon as I read it, I like, you know, my other buddy Jabari, who I got into Uber. I said, you need to catch up right this minute. You need to catch up right now. You just have to. And then, like, I saw his live reaction via Facebook chat. And then once he saw issue 7, he was like, he sent me a little clap gif about how much he enjoyed it. And, oh, so fucking good. Okay, so that's my thoughts of Uber Invasion. Hope you enjoyed the little montage of World War II scenes. A lot of Dunkirk footage, since, that feels relevant. To pay tribute to the HMH Dunkirk, who gave his life in the Battle of Cayes. I probably messed that pronunciation up. But hope you guys enjoyed that. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll include some Uber links down in the bottom through Amazon affiliates. Please go buy it through the links. It gets me some cash. You get to read an awesome comic. Uber's the best. Why aren't you reading Uber? It makes me angry that you are not reading more Uber, because it is so fucking good, and this validates why it's my favorite thing running, fictional thing right now. I can't wait for September 6th when the next issue drops. So, alright, thank you for listening to my little rant and hearing my little video discussion of the solo review of Uber Invasion. Hope to speak to you guys, hope to hear you guys sound off in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, and remember, lobsters and tennis, don't you grab it.
Lobsters made of light.